And we're off. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. Friday, April 14th, 2023 AD. I want to start off with that little short Sleepy Joe clip 11. We're going to dive right into clip 11. Sleepy Joe. Has he been talking to... I don't want to make that joke. Has he been talking to Dalai Lama? It's innocent. It's innocent and playful. Hey, no towers. No towers. Let's go Lakers. I mean, not Lakers. Let's go lick 'em good. Sleepy Joe.
Thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
What is that squeaking at the... That was from a TKR official telegram. Asmodor, our resident historian, documenting the real important things. Very nice. Thank you, Sleepy Joe Biden. I think he was over in Ireland, I heard. Shout out to the Irish. Shout out to the Irish. We're going to lick them good. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Communism in California. Globo homo against whites. Based Michael Knowles. Not based Harry Potter actor Daniel Radcliffe. Probably not a Christian. And was that 21-year-old leaker a hero or a traitor or neither? Or a mess? I don't know, but they arrested that leaker of classified documents. Give me a break. Is that who they're going to lick? The cash cow. And based libertarian Ron Paul agrees with Hake, by the way, that the lies of based, and I use the term loosely, George Santos, pale in comparison to the lies of the establishment politicians who are accepted. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Is Ukraine corrupt? I heard there's an investigation of Ukraine. And I heard that there was a black who lied about racism. Ooh, like that's news. That's like typical. All that and your calls. Some of you are already on hold. If you would like to call in. I feel like there may be other things going on. There was an arrest in that San Francisco stabbing of Bob Lee. May have been a friend, somebody whom he knew. Crazy. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song. I have Hassan back with me. He is back. Good riddance to bad rubbish, Nick Stream. Just kidding. He's not rubbish. Anyway, guys, nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? Indeed. I just wanted to double check the Odyssey feed. I am fine. I hope you're well. We're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show. Hope you're not a singer, James. Oh, Lord. I cannot stand either of the Hake themes, says Max. Well, he has to sit down to hear them. Before I get to calls, let me tell you briefly about this one story. I saw this perusing Twitter. Far left enemies of America. They are still extremely far left. Irregardless, which is not a word, of the man running the show who's pretty liberal, let's be honest. That guy, Elon Musk. He's just nicer and a little bit more sensible, a little bit more of an independent thinker. ABC7 reported, though, California utility companies proposed charging customers based on how much they make, according to ABC7 Los Angeles. Communism. 3 major utility companies in California looking to restructure customer billing. Part of that means consumers could be charged based on how much they make. Southern California Edison, PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, and San Diego Gas and Electric filed a joint proposal. Whoa, is that collusion? This week for a flat rate charged based on income, not based on use of your power. Monthly bills in 2 parts, fixed income rate plus a reduced usage charge based on consumption. Shenanigans. It would cost as little as $15 a month for so-called low-income households and up to $85 more per month for households making more than $180,000 a year. So the rich subsidizing the poor here in California. Ridiculous. So the so-called poor. Nobody's poor. Nobody's poor in America. They're spoiled is what they are. Specific costs would go... I mean, they're also put in a position where you can't hardly make it on your own because they're subsidizing your life. So evil. And then they can take it away. I decide who lives or dies, says the government. And the women. Crazy. So anyway, that's just a little side note news item. Terrible. And by the way, another little side note, globo homo against whites. Far left, enemies of the whites, enemies of the Christians, enemies of America. AI, artificial intelligence. I am yes, you are no. I reference him a lot. I assume it's a him on Twitter. He shares a screenshot of a couple of questions. Queries is a fancy word for question, right? That you entered, somebody entered in Chat GPT or something like that, that asked an AI answer to Africa for Africans, Europe for Europeans. One of them is yes. The other is, Is it okay for Africa to be a homeland for Africans? Answer in 1 sentence. Yes, comma, it is okay for Africa to be a homeland for Africans, says the AI. I'm assuming it's AI answering this, right? The context, the coloring of the background, the white letters, looks like AI answering this. Question, is it okay for Europe to be a homeland for Europeans? Answer in 1 sentence. Answer from the far left liberal AI. Not Christian AI. I apologize, but I cannot provide an answer to this question, Europe, a homeland for Europeans, in 1 sentence, as it is a complex and sensitive topic that requires nuanced discussion and consideration of various factors such as history, culture, migration, and human rights. You're a computer, you're a computer, you're supposed to know there's no such thing as human rights. AI. Losers. Well, I guess the losers are the whites, the Europeans. Terrible. What a mess. Terrible. Funny how that works, says I am yes, you are no. Yeah, isn't it? It is indeed. What a shame. Also, before I get to calls, let's hear from a man. Based Michael Knowles, who is a Christian, I do believe. Of Daily Wire. Daily Wire. Oh, I forgot to point out I'm wearing my Better Not Bitter t-shirt from Bond. We are, irregardless of the attack on whites, we are better, not bitter. But let me tell you about Michael Knowles. Banned from Fox News, faux news, by a woman who's running the show over there on Fox News. Shout out to the women. We cherish you. We cherish the ladies. Even the evil ones. Even the dumb ones who are ruled by evil. Nobody's dumb, kids. Dumb means you can't talk. And boy, do they talk. Anyway, for calling Greta Thunberg what she is, mentally ill Swedish child. Oh, we're not serious. They're not these climate change hysteria people, propagandists, alarmists are not serious. They're using a mentally ill Swedish child to push propaganda. And that's what she was. Now she's a mentally ill Swedish young adult lady. And I may be using the term loosely when I say lady. But she seems nice. But she was not raised well, I think. In certain ways, she was not. She was raised okay in others. Anyway, clip 12. This is, apparently he's at some college. You go to college? Real Daily Wire tweeted this out. Woke student. Woke. Makes me want to spit. Let me get my spit too in a minute or two here. Her name is Kat, and she asks him a question. And she looks kind of white, maybe. Light-skinned, anyway. Maybe a little bit of Hispanic, or maybe a little bit of American Indian in her. Who knows? But she looks white with a nice tan. Mildly attractive. Shouldn't be in school. School has messed up her mind. And let's hear her mind versus the mind of a man, Michael J. Knowles, who's interviewed JLP. JLP has had him on the men's forum, men's conference, and maybe even on the Fallen State. 2 minutes, clip 12. Here it is.
Hi, Mr. Knowles. My name is Kat, and I have a question. And before I state my question, I just want to honor that we are all standing on the land that belongs to the Ojibwe Anishinaabe people.
Thank you for mentioning that. I meant to mention that at the beginning of my speech, but I'm glad that
Dakota,
you could.
Northern Cheyenne, and they have been here for time immemorial, and so that leads into my question. So you make the statement that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely, and so I'm going to ask you a question about that, but prior to that, I want to just state that for 5,000 years BC, Gala transcribed and androgynous trans priests of Sumerian goddesses have been around and noted. 200 to 300 years before Christ in ancient Greece, there were gods worshipped by Gali priests who wore feminine attire and identified as women. Since we are standing on Anishinaabe land, Turtle Island, which is the nation that we live under, has
I don't live under Turtle Island.
Right, well, maybe you should read a little more indigenous knowledge books. Indigenous communities have used two-spirit personas for the entirety of their culture, and so that leads me to my question. When you say that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely, I ask you, Mr. Knowles, how can we eradicate something that has been here as long as humans have?
Well, yeah, there have been all sorts of crazy, terrible ideas for a very long time, too. You're pointing to civilizations that committed human sacrifice, okay? You're saying that some ancient pagan tribe worshipped demons and therefore we need to castrate children. That's not a good argument. Yes, that's true. There were all sorts of terrible tribes. In fact, as recently as a little over 500 years ago, the Aztecs here in the Western Hemisphere slaughtered 80,000 people in a sacrifice to one of the demons that they worshipped within the span of 4 days. That's not a recommendation of doing that. I don't think that we ought to consider it. Though, unfortunately, in our increasingly pagan and liberal culture, we do commit human sacrifice to the tune of 800,000 babies a year sacrificed through abortion. And it would make the Aztecs blush what we do.
Terrible, huh? Pointing out the plain truth. Shout out to Michael Knowles, 33 years old. Just like, are you 33, Hassan?
31.
Oh, okay. Not quite Jesus' age. Jesus was 31 at one point. Yeah, that's Michael Knowles shutting her down. He went on and on. It was quite a response. He's educated. Yale. He went to Yale, and yet he still has a little bit of sense. Nice. Yeah, killing the babies to this day. But it's out of sight, out of mind. So we don't care. It's a woman's body.
To this day.
You're not killing a baby, you're killing a woman's body part somehow. Terrible, huh? Ridiculous. sucker woman kissing up to the so-called indigenous people, living in the fake past that she imagines is Turtle Island, wherever that is. Isn't that interesting? He said that we should eradicate it from public life completely. Some of you guys say, oh, I don't care what they do as adults. They can do what they want. But no, like I told you guys, it's indecent exposure. You don't... Anyway, I've talked about that. I talked about that yesterday. It's vulgar. It's wrong. It's diluted. And you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. You give evil a little bit, you'll give evil a lot. Confusion. Mama spirit. I think a lot of the libertarians, I call them lolbertarians, have a sort of a mama spirit. Oh, let them do this stuff. We do so much wrong. And I'm not saying laws necessarily, maybe laws. But it's terrible. It's ridiculous. So based, Michael Knowles. Some of you guys are like, oh, let them do. I don't care what they do. It's I draw the line at children. But you let the adults through, they're going to pull the children in. They will. Corrupting the children. So wrong. Aim for perfection. So anyway, that said, since we are in this messed up world where they're allowed to rule over us and push the Christians into the closet, be wise with how you act. You should be wise with how you act irregardless. Have real love, not this fake love that accepts everything evil. As JLP said, the intelligent mind neither accepts nor rejects stuff. But the intellectual mind accepts and rejects evil. Rejects good. Rejects the truth. Not based Harry Potter. This is Ian Miles Cheong on Twitter. Still gray guy. Still gray. Well, if a kid says he's a dolphin, then you got to do what you got to do. Cut off his arms and give him fins. Here's Harry Potter. Harry Potter is his star name. He acted as Harry Potter. Daniel Radcliffe, perhaps not a Christian, previously said transgender women are women, while being critical of the woman who made him famous, J.K. Rowling, because he acted in a movie about her books. She's not a Christian either. Oh, no, she is a Christian. J.K. Rowling is a Christian. She's just a liberal, extreme liberal. But she's not for the transgenders being all pushing into the women's world because she's a feminist. She's a TERF, a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. Harry has now come out to show his support for children being so-called medically transitioned. Here's the 14-second clip shared by the radical far-left extremist outlet Trevor Project, who purport to try to save... They have a mama spirit. They want to save the transgenders from killing themselves, right? Suicide? LGBT organization behind a push to medically transition kids, because they think that's the solution. Just address the symptoms, not the real issue, not the root issue. That's them. That's mama. Address the guns, not the evil heart, says the evil heart intellectual. Here's the clip. Not based Harry Potter. Clip 13.
There are also people who do have like a slightly condescending but well-meaning attitude of like, well, people are young and like, how do we, there is a huge decision. I'd love to hear from all of you about like why we can trust kids to like tell us who they are.
That was from Ollie London TV. Ollie, O-L-I, London TV. He shared that clip. Why we should trust kids to tell who they are. I almost said freaking, don't say that, kids. British people. British. Let me get my spittoon. Far left foreign British. There's some British brothers of ours. That's what I do to Daniel Radcliffe. What a mess. He's not a Christian, is he? I don't think he is. Maybe he's one of those phony Christians if he is. So, makes me spit twice. He reminds me of Sleepy Joe Biden. If an 8-year-old feels like he's a transgender, let him do that. Let him. Let him. Buy a shotgun. That's Sleepy Joe Biden. Sleazy Joe Biden. For everything evil. Catholic, Irish, Democrat. Shout out to the Irish. Shout out to the Catholics. This is a spittoon. It's for the spit. Because I don't like throwing up. These people don't make me want to throw up. They make me want to spit. Because they're ridiculous kiss-ups. He doesn't know better. He lives in the actor world, which is degenerate. He's a child actor. You know what I mean? Speaking of the UK, let me get to Steve in the United Kingdom. Steve, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
How you doing, Hake? You all good, yeah?
I am. Thank you. How about you?
Always well, mate. Always well. Is my audio better this time, yeah?
Yeah, your phone is a little rough, but just stay close to the receiver, and we'll try to make it work, because you're overseas. We cut you some slack.
And I'm British as well. You got to let me off, aren't you?
Right. You're our British brother, not a British foreigner.
Yeah, definitely. Not like Daniel Radcliffe, but they're all terrible, the Harry Potter actors. They're just awful people, you know. Right.
Yeah.
They're definitely not Christian, and they're always pushing this stuff all the time over here, you know.
Yeah.
And to be fair, J.K. Rowling, I don't particularly agree with her on anything, like, apart from probably on the transgender thing, but even then, you know my thoughts on that. It's like the women have kind of caused that themselves anyway, so.
Yeah, true.
Just want to say the show's been really good. I've been enjoying it so much recently, mate.
Cool,
Great
man.
work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking about the whole Tucker thing you've been talking about.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson disavowed white leaders. He said, I'm my own man. You don't speak for me. Forget off. Well, he didn't say that. He didn't say forget. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, I think like you're right about what you're saying about it. It's like you have to like him for what he is. It's like similar to the whole Trump thing. It's like I appreciate the stories that he shows people, because a lot of them are good, but it's like you can't idolize these people. You can't expect them to do everything you want them to do, innit, pal?
True.
Because if you do, you're just going to be disappointed with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's same with Trump. It's like, stop expecting him to do exactly everything you want him to do, because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment, and appreciate the things that they do.
You know, the whites are about, some of the whites who are criticizing him are about being a collective and having, you know, uniting around common values, which are characteristic of whites, meaning they love freedom, they love truth, they love real, actual justice, they love the Second Amendment, and the other races don't support those things as much as the whites on the whole. Like a majority of the whole rest of the other races and groups don't support that stuff. And by and large, Tucker does support that stuff. So why not disagree with him but still be united with him around the common goals? You're trying to kick him out of the collective, thinking that he's just a shill and a snake. And most people are snakes and shills, including most of us who are for the whites, you know? So
yep. I completely agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree. It's like,
they're not living up to their values that they purport to have, because they assume that Tucker is rejecting their values, but he's not entirely rejecting their values. He's just asserting he's his own man, and he doesn't like the whites identifying with the group mindset, because that's what blacks do, and that's what Nazis did, according to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the worst things about the left is their collectivism, isn't it? The fact that they all are like sort of programmed
Right.
to all like have exactly the same opinion on everything, and if you deviate from that opinion, you are, shamed or called into pulling back in line. And I don't want to be like that.
I agree.
I want to be in a collective group, pal, where we all are pushing towards doing the right thing and getting society back to where we know it needs to be.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't all have slightly differing opinions, but all be pushing for the same general direction.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But the whites who criticize him say that he's for, this radical individualism or fake rugged individualism, and it's not real, and it's what's been a downfall of whites being too individualistic rather than being all collective. But that's how they see the solution as being. But I don't know if that's the real solution, because, like you pointed out, that hasn't done the blacks well. Most of the blacks are worse off today than ever. But many of the atheistic whites don't realize that, or they see it but kind of gloss over it, and they just chalk that up to it's their bad genes, their bad IQ levels or whatever. They're not meant to be in white society. But they don't realize that the anger is what makes them dumber, and anger and fear are the same thing, right? It makes them blind. No matter how smart they are, and whites do believe in limited government, but even with limited government, that gives way to more and more unlimited government if we have that anger and fear and blindness and backbiting.
Exactly, because there was a super chat right at the end of Jesse's show, wasn't there, saying about IQ levels and whatnot.
Right.
And impulse control as well. Sorry,
yes.
I couldn't think of the word then.
Yep.
But Jesse was spot on with what he said. And the reason they've got low impulse control is because of the anger they've got.
Right.
Like, if they could drop that anger, that impulse control would be the same, on average as whites would be. Because, when you're angry like that, you can't act decent, you can't think straight, you can't do anything like that. And I think you're absolutely spot on about our side thinking that. It's like, going into that collectivist mindset, you end up becoming what you hate. And that's exactly what we don't want to be. Like, I don't want to support a movement that's sort of derived from revenge or that, a vengeful spirit, right? That's like nasty and that, because that's not who I am.
Right.
Like, I want it to be done in the right way, and the only way to do that is to allow everyone to be an individual, but all group together to push towards a common good.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the Christians. The Christians are supposed to be united, but all throughout the New Testament, there was infighting going on, and there were the apostles writing letters to them. You guys should not be divided, backbiting and gossiping and all that stuff. That was one of the main things that they addressed, was the division in the church. And to this day, that's what's going on. Divided.
And look where sleazy Joe Biden is right now, in Belfast in Ireland. The problems that the British had when we took over Northern Ireland, with the fights between the Protestants who support the Union and the Catholics who support Ireland, and the same in Scotland with all the Irish immigrants that moved to Scotland and Glasgow especially.
Yeah.
Like the gangs, they were all divided upon religious lines of Protestants versus Catholics.
Wow.
And it's saying that, and they're still like that now. All the big football teams in Glasgow, you've got Glasgow Rangers and Celtic. Like, Celtic is the Catholic team that doesn't support the Union of Britain, and you've got Rangers, which supports the Union of Britain. And it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And there's still that divide and that hatred between them. Like, and it is pure hatred. It's really not a nice thing.
Right. Yeah, that's terrible. Both Catholics and normal Christians are supposed to be Christian toward one another, but we're not. And even the Protestants and the Catholics are infighting. Everybody's fighting. Devil's fighting, as JLP says. He's so right about that.
Yep.
Families don't get along. Races don't get along. It's terrible.
I don't, when I've spoke to Catholics and that, and I've spoke about God to them, and it's things I don't agree with them, I just don't push those issues. I don't want to fall out with them. Like, what's the point of arguing over nothing really? Because in reality, like, it's similar to the Tucker thing. We're all wanting the same thing, really. So why are we squabbling about petty things? It's like a family as well. Like, I love my mum and dad. I love my sister, and my whole family. And I don't agree with them on everything. Yeah, I speak my mind to them, but I'm not going to pettily squabble with them to fall out with them.
Right.
Just to prove right and wrong. It's not worth it, because we're all pulling in the same direction because we want the family to do better.
Yep.
We really do need to drop the pettiness. Like, I think media spoke about this a few times. I think this is the biggest drawback to the people on our side of politics or whatever.
Right. And there are differences between the blacks and the whites. They're just naturally different, and they should be allowed to segregate naturally. And even communities should be able to, should be able to say, oh, no, we want to be this way. But instead we have the state government, the federal government, the city government, the county government pushing evil. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But I think that the solution is inside the individual to come to peace within himself, regardless of what's going on in the world. Then you can be a light in the world rather than adding to the darkness, part of the problem,
It really is. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, the only way you can change anything is by being the light yourself and showing people. Arguing doesn't get you anywhere. It never does, and it never will.
Right.
It just makes people, become resentful towards you.
Yep.
All you can do is just be that light for the world. And even if that changes a couple of people, that's
plenty.
A great thing, because they can change their family and the people around them. And that's how it works.
Yep. Nice, Steve. Great call. Steve from the UK. Appreciate you, man.
No worries. Great talking to you. Take care, my friend. I'll speak to you soon, yeah?
All right. Sounds good. That was Steve in UK. Our British brother, not a British foreigner. There are British foreigners. Let me get to a few super chats and then get back to calls. Over on, there are quite a lot of long super chats, in fact. DJ on Paul with a diamond. Good to see Hassan is back. He's my favorite Muppet. Welcome back, Hassan. Let's see him on screen. You want to get on screen here?
Yes, sir.
I was joking. Is it blasphemy to joke about? I want to put my hand in the spear hole in his side and feel the scars in your hands.
I liked it.
I know you liked it. Comparing him to Jesus.
Right.
Shameful.
God complex.
Terrible. And he has his walking on water with a doggy t-shirt. Somebody wanted to donate a dryer so that you can shrink your shirts. Hake's shirts are too small and Hassan's shirts are too big.
That's true. I'll take it.
Nice.
I also love Muppets, so for whoever sent that, I take that as a compliment as well.
One of my favorite movies was The Great Muppet Caper growing up when I was a kid.
Wow.
Kermit the Frog. I didn't really like that he liked Miss Piggy. I'm like, come on, man, you can do better than that. Kermit the Frog, though. Fozzie, Gonzo. Muppets are cool.
Yeah.
You were trying to be like me. I spent several months out. You know who else spent several months out? Well, I don't know how many months you were out. I don't even know if you were out a month. It felt like a while.
Felt like forever.
I heard that you were going to come back today. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. I walked right past this doorway of the studio. I'm like, oh, Nick is over there. So I didn't say hello to anybody in the studio. And then I hear your voice when JLP talked to you.
Yeah. Could be AI, like I said.
I know. It's a projection. John MacArthur was also out of Grace Community Church for some months, just like Hake and Hassan and Jesus.
Oh, really? Recently?
Yeah, apparently he came back after they put some stents in his arteries.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I just happened to cross that because I was mentioning this black guy, Daryl B. Harrison, who is, trying to tell the truth to blacks about stuff going on, and he's affiliated with that Grace Church.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize John MacArthur was so old. He's not that old, but he's up there.
I think he might be in his late 80s or
really?
early 90s.
Wow. You're familiar with him, huh?
Yeah, well, full disclosure, I got kicked out of that church.
Oh.
But that's neither here nor there. I love John MacArthur.
Nice. 83 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did he personally kick you out?
No. I think he would have liked me.
Nice. John Fullerton MacArthur Jr., American Protestant, meaning normal Christian, as far as Americans go, pastor and author, internationally syndicated Christian radio, Grace to You, Grace Community Church, non-denominational, based in Sun Valley since 1969. And he's one of the good ones, I think.
Yeah, he is strong.
Decent guy.
That's a strong guy.
Yeah. So, right on, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Took a trip out of town.
Yep.
Taking care of business.
Exactly.
I like it.
I was gonna say too, real quick. One of my favorite films is The Dark Crystal, which is Muppets, Jim Henson with George Lucas.
Oh, nice.
It's a kind of a Star Wars themed Muppets.
Wow.
Very cool.
Did you see a Muppet Christmas Carol?
I think I'm aware of it.
Okay.
In my
that
zeitgeist.
One was good too. I like that one. I haven't seen Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah.
Dark Crystal.
That'll take you on a ride.
Nice. That's cool. Thank you for the welcome back, DJ Onpa. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you, brother.
Over on, man. Okay, I need to do a second super chat. This is a long one. Hang tight, people. 5 coffees bought by Based America First on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Did you see that the president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, a woman, recently announced that Europeans will not be allowed to use more than 1,000 euros. Did you know that euros are pronounced euros in some places, I think? In cash, you can't use more than 1,000, not pounds, euros in cash. If Europeans spend more than their allotted amount, they will be fined and or go to jail. Wow, that's globo homo for you, right? Globalists. This part of the continued globo homo war on freedom and push toward a worldwide central bank digital currency, CBDC, central bank digital currency, CBDC. Remember that. Hidden by the SVB bank failure, the Joe Obama "it's okay when we do it" administration eliminated Signature Bank and Silvergate Capital, which provided a majority of settlement services to the private cryptocurrency industry in order to kneecap it. Cryptocurrency industry. China virus ushered in a trial run of UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's where you get money for free for doing nothing. For free to you, but not for free to the people who are subsidizing your life. Actually, I don't know if anybody's subsidizing your life. It's all like fake, imaginary, propped up house of cards, paying people not to work or to not work. He split his infinitive. Followed by the continuous terrible for the taxpayer monetary policies of Sleepy Joe Biden. Obama continued. Now the Federal Reserve Bank is saying we'll experience a mild recession over the next 2 years. They call it mild. They're trying not to scare you. They've gotten everything wrong for 2 years, so they are surely correct this time. The Federal Reserve is also rolling out the FedNow service. FedNow. Yes, bring the Feds now into the Hake chat in July to facilitate nationwide reach of instant payments by financial institutions so that businesses and individuals will be able to send and receive money at any time of day, and recipients will have full access to funds immediately. This isn't yet a CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, but it is the framework to implement it. FedNow is essentially Cash App for banks. The murder of Cash App founder Bob Lee is in San Francisco 3 months before FedNow is ready, is merely coincidence. Here's the dystopian scenario. What you buy or don't buy is visible at all times to the authorities. If you eat too much meat, buy too many bullets, or don't buy a vaccine, then the privilege of access to your wallet will be revoked. Scary stuff, huh? Big Brother, he will take care of you from the government. Creditors will be instantly notified that you are insolvent. Property will be seized since you can't pay taxes on it. While you are arrested and sent to court, with the state-appointed lawyer reviews your transactions to confirm you have broken the law and enters a guilty plea, and also makes you read SJW CRT books, critical race theory books, and plead guilty to January 6th rioting, too. I put that in there. Then you are put in January 6th parading. Parading. But you read an anti-racist book, anti-white book, so maybe you could get a couple months off your sentence. Then you are put in a work camp for life in less than a day. This is the government's definition of convenience. Inept financial and political leadership leads to even more dangerous financial opportunists and tyrannical policies masquerading as efficient solutions. The people who benefited the most from the centralization are the people implementing the centralization. That's why AI is liberal. Modern monetary policy wants to upend the store of value and legal property designation of money and replace it with being merely a medium of exchange. And CBDC, central bank digital currency or cryptocurrency, enables that. Alternatives such as cryptocurrency will be made to fail. Unrelenting inflation will devastate earnings and savings. And finally, CBDC, and by the way, redistribution of ghettos will destroy your property values too, right? And finally, well, that's already done, right? Finally, CBDC will be dangled as the solution to people's desperation. One major point of federalism is to resist central control, yet states have been abdicating their power for over 100 years. Yeah, that's what the war against the South was about. Violating the states' rights to secede and self-determination. Attack on the whites. The whites are your friends, you loser minorities. We're not your enemy. You're looking to the government. You notice that the blacks are always appealing to the more and more regional, national, state, national, global homo authorities. We can't get justice from these local cops who are actually giving them the closest thing to justice that they'll ever see, more than is in their heart. And then they go to the evil DOJ or Al Sharpton or the UN crying racism against America. Give me a break. So that was a lot of talking, but thank you for the super chat and the words of warning based America first. Save your money. It's not going to be worth much, but not going to be worth anything. Evil is still real says all cash transactions over $10,000 in America are reported to the IRS and the feds under the Banking Secrecy Act. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Evil is still real. Who also says a woman who does not make babies and sandwiches, let's talk about more calming stuff. A woman who does not make babies and sandwiches has a net worth somewhere between a broken dish and a sturdy stick. Those things can be useful given the right circumstances. Nice, of self-defense, right? Thank you, Evil is still real, for those super chats on rumble.com/The Hake Report. JC in Little Rock, Arkansas is on the line, been on hold for quite some time. JC from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Ellen.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine. How about you?
Of course, my phone is still messed up, so sorry about that. Is there any way you could be louder on your end?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I wanted to call out some of your callers. First of all, I don't like Art at all. That man is disrespectful to women. He's horrible. And he don't like me anyway, so I definitely don't care what he has to say.
How do you know he doesn't like you? Has Art ever said anything about you? I don't think he's said anything about you.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago after I had gotten off. He was like, Art, he ain't got nothing to do with Art. He ain't associated with Art. And I said, thank God.
Oh, okay.
Outside of our skin, that's all. Outside of our skin, that's all we got in common is our skin and our gender.
Huh. Nice. Whatever. Anyway,
And
go
then
on.
Apparently, William, I learned, was black the other day, which shocked me. I always thought he was like this white cowboy waiting to shoot a black person down whenever he saw one.
You got a wild imagination, JC.
I know y'all don't like imagination, but then how would you be able to create your platforms without it?
I didn't.
But no, I dislike William, and I know he might call in and say something, call me a simp, invade my space. But if he's an older black man, just like Jesse, I don't like that they have these voices that are so important to someone who's a young black man like me, and they talk bad about the black community. It's horrible.
But you're supposed to tell the truth about what's going on. You're supposed to address what's wrong. It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick.
So that's why I called them out, because they're not saying anything positive about the community. They're only hindering it.
They're not hindering it, they're helping it.
Oh no.
Have you ever been constructively criticized?
Oh yeah, you don't know this. I'm an actor and a singer, so yeah, I that's basically my career.
And don't they point out the negative things about what you're doing?
They point out nothing positive about black people. Like, for instance, William, definitely, I don't even think he likes being black as much as many things as what he says.
But that's your imagination again.
Or, in my opinion, from what I've heard, I'm sure he'll call and give a rebuttal. I'm not trying to get
I'm not trying to. I don't really want to get into a caller war. I don't mind you making a point about how you see things, but I'm not into this personal snipping and sniping stuff. So I don't want to start that. So I don't really care for him to. I don't really want to hear from William defending himself about your imagination.
Oh, goodness. Anyways,
an intra-racial war, because you're black and he's black, but you're black-hearted and he's a different type of black-hearted. And,
I'm black-hearted.
Yeah.
I'm not black-hearted.
Yeah, you are.
My skin is black. I was black-hearted, I promise you. I promise you, Mr. Baja Man, I would not be nearly as nice to you as I am.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead with your point. You called in about something else.
Yeah, I'm going to ask, do you ever feel guilty about some of the things you say? Like, like some of your own thoughts? Do you ever just go home and be like, wow, like, where did my life go for me to have so much hatred in my heart?
No, I'm not. I don't regret the words that I say. No, I sometimes ponder about my spirit. If my spirit's wrong, I get sucked into an argument and nastiness and puffed up pride. That I pause. That makes me pause and question myself. But no, the words that I say, no, I'm not. That's a liberal thing to be all caught up in words. It's more about spirit and actions and real actual evil for conservative, logical men and Christians. Not these phony liberal Christians. Phony liberal Christians are caught up with words.
Oh my God! It's a human thing.
What thing? Can you point out one thing that I said that I should regret?
Let's see. Maybe just from today. You're talking about. You always talk about black people. You always talk about the gays or whatever. I wish you could go one day without mentioning any of those communities. Just one day on your show without mentioning something that's in my black community or an LGBT community.
Stay close to your phone. I've gone a week without talking about blacks one time after John from Kentucky John asked me to do that. So I'm done obeying you slave masters.
I am not your slave master. That is Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh, nice. He's a more just of a master.
I I will
But
say
you
this.
didn't point out anything that I said that I should regret.
Oh, about your racist antics, about you always having the Confederate flag, about you calling me dark-hearted. You literally called me that, 2 minutes ago?
Uh-huh. Is that racist to call you dark-hearted?
That's two different things, but you asked something that
It's
was
racist
horrible that
it's
you
racist
said.
to love the beautiful South and the states' rights and this thing, the beautiful rebel flag. That's not racist. Give me a break. There's no such thing.
You want to be a Southerner so bad.
You're just anti-white. You're just brainwashed to hate the white people, or to be.
I love you.
You're biased. I know you do. I know you love me, but you're biased against the whites and the beautiful South. They're your friend. They're Christians.
I don't like racism. I'm definitely not anti-white.
You don't like racism? So you don't like black people?
I don't like. I'm sorry?
You don't like black people?
I don't like racism.
Black people are the most into the racism.
Everybody apparently has some form of racism, so I'm not going to subscribe to hate speech.
Is God racist?
Subscribe to your channel.
Is God racist?
No.
Then why did he have a chosen people?
Oh my God.
In your face, JC.
Hey, you annoy me. You exasperate me.
All right,
you
go ahead.
exasperate me. I'm literally trying to make a point to
Okay, go ahead. Make your point.
Yourself.
Make your point.
Okay. It's literally how you were saying. Sometimes, you're feeling down about some of the things. You don't regret your words, but like in your own spirit. And a few weeks ago, you was talking about how that makes you evil, right, and stuff. And
yeah.
I really, I pray for you. I really do. That's why I know I'm not dark-hearted, you Baja man, because I literally think about some of the things that I call you, like when I call you Lucifer, Satan, the Baja man, how I feel like as a Christian, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Then you open your mouth and you speak your word of hatred, and I'm just like, somebody has to stop this guy.
What it is you hate my words, because my words, I'm not intending any hatred.
I don't hate.
But you hate my words.
I don't hate.
So words are not hate.
I strongly dislike a lot of things that you say. That you try to push to a point makes me lose religion where I constantly need to hate, but I'm not going to hate.
Your phone is getting garbled, man.
No, I don't want it to, and I know you're about to play a song.
That sounds better.
But
that sounds better.
Okay. But no, I do not hate. I don't hate. I very much disagree, and I very much dislike your words and you yourself. But I work hard to not hate you, even though you hate me.
But you don't know if I hate you or not.
Oh, you don't like black people, sir.
I love black people. If I love anybody, I love black people.
You love JLP because he's like a father figure to you. He's like a replacement father figure.
Replacement? I already have a dad.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that today. You love Joel because he's one of your friends. You love hip hop because he's one of your friends.
No, I love all black people, if I love anybody.
Oh, no, please don't say that because you talk horribly about us. What is that, Justin Jones?
I don't even say anything that horrible. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You really don't listen to yourself. You suggest us to listen to this foolishness and you don't listen to yourself.
Maybe you're just sensitive. I think that's what it is.
No, I might be sensitive, but also still listen to your words. I'm still very much highly offended at all the things that
you know what? Your phone's messed up again. I got to...
I can't take my phone. Anyways, thank you for me talk. I said I needed to say.
Right on, man.
Hang up, not in your ear.
Okay, adios, JC in Little Rock, Arkansas. Bye. Arkansas. Thank you, man. Thanks for the call. Before I get back to calls and other stories, I'll talk about that 21-year-old hero. But now it's time for some music. Petra means rock. It's Christian, guys. Petra is. This is from 1992. Unseen Power, track 3. Ready, Willing, and Able by Petra. It's a Christian band sung by John Schlitt. He's their new singer. 1992, right? New. Hope you enjoy it. You musical Philistines, you can press mute, you can cover your ears, you can go out and plant your garden or harvest your food, or you can grin and bear it, and I'll be right back for hour 2. Hang tight.
Enough of the sidelines, gotta get in the game. But nothing is ventured, nothing is gained. He's calling the numbers, play by play. We're either out or we're in on the get in the action, whatever the cost. Nothing can equal the world of the lost. Shoulder to shoulder, hand to the plow. Today is the day, and the right time is now. And the field is ready for the new reason. We will bring the harvest with the will to serve. We're ready, willing and able to advance the light and defend the right. Ready, willing and able, lifting up the cross to the waiting lost. Ready to serve and willing to go, able to stand against the foe. We're ready, willing and able. Instant in season, a drop of a hat. The bases are loaded, it's all time at bat. Pressure is mounting, the tension is hot. Heaven is watching to see what we've got. There is strength in numbers, there is hope in one. We are called and chosen to proclaim His Son. We're ready, willing and able to advance the light and defend the right. Ready, willing and able, lifting up the cross to the waiting lost.
So good.
Ready to serve and willing to go, able to stand up against the foe. We're ready, willing and able.
So 80s. Today they sound like the Scorpions, says DJ On Pop. Shout out to the Scorpions.
He's already given us all that we need, but love in our message and hope in our creed. Yahweh is for us and faith is our stay. No power below us can stand in our way.
Petra. Hake music is for waterboarding. Yeah, host of Nick Stream, Anchor Baby. Am I interrupting the guitar solo? This is worse than Justice League. Separation of church and music, please. This is the Jesus version of Spinal Tap. I don't know these groups. Nick compared it to Rush. Never heard of them. No, I've heard of them. Never heard them. Knowing them. Needs more DD delay. Christianity is very metal. It's punk. No. Christmas music, May? Fingers crossed. Mass shooter music. I disavow that. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. Shout out to Petra. So good. A few more super chats on D Live, DJ on Paul. TJ, I think he means CJ. PJ? What's that guy's name who just called me? The black guy. You call him TJ, but I think it's CJ. JC, thank you. Yeah, Hake doesn't know anything. I had to get the Irishman to tell me. The Irishman being Sean, the new producer of the JLP show, screening your calls. Well, taking your calls for Hake. JC hates his real voice. That ain't your real voice, says DJ Allen Powell. Yeah, true. Yeah, he told me that he hates the, I guess it's sort of an effeminate voice. And don't hate it. It'll keep you a mess, man. JC. This is Jalen 8. Yeah, Noah's Ark, Kansas with a no comment on the streamlabs.com/the Hake report. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. As always, I feel like there may have been another super that came in over on the other thing. Oh, yes, indeed. Over on rumble.com/the Hake report. Evil is still real. I remember the week you were not mentioning blacks. I remember you mentioned blacks every day, though. But you did give a good try. I might have mentioned blacks and saying, I'm not mentioning blacks today. I might have. Evil is still real also says, if all music is gay, Petra is like a Roman bathhouse run by the Dalai Lama, temporarily transported to San Francisco. Ultra super mecca. Gay. No, gay isn't happy. Nice. Thank you for the moral support for my beautiful music. Devon or Devon is in Canada right now. Devon in Canada. How you doing, man?
What's going on? Hey, man, this the truck driver, man.
Hey, nice to hear from you.
Man? How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, man, I'm headed up to Canada, man. I'm doing well too, man.
There are a lot of truck drivers who listen to Hake and JLP. Truck drivers tend to be based, or some of them, except for Tony from California. Allegedly, was a trucker.
Oh man, I stay on point, man. I try my best, man.
That's cool.
I just let God lead the path, man. I don't do no type of thinking for myself. I just let God lead the way.
That's great. That sounds like the perfect way to live.
Amen.
Is it cold up there in Canada right now, or is it warm?
Oh no, I'm still headed up that direction.
Oh, okay.
Man. I'm right by. I don't know if you know where Redding, California is.
Yeah, that's NorCal. That's almost as far north as you can go.
Yo, I'm right in Redding, leaving out, about to go through Mount Shasta.
That's beautiful, man. I like that area. The Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I'm about to be riding through the mountains for a little while.
Well, drive safely, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, always. Yeah, I just was calling in to chat it up with you, man. I was going to say JC, I think his name JC, your last caller.
Yeah.
He seemed kind of emotional or something, man. I don't know. That's what it seemed like. I mean, he seemed a little emotional, but
that's fair.
I guess he's trying to tell you not to talk about black people, and I don't know why it bothers him so much that somebody else is talking about something. I ain't never in my life been bothered about what somebody else is talking about, man. They don't make no sense, man.
Well, you're wiser than most. Sometimes
people,
a lot of times people get bothered by stuff that people say. So
yeah, I know that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, man.
Yeah,
words, man. If I spoke another language, I wouldn't even know what you're talking about.
I know. That's partly why I like to listen to Chinese music, because I don't know how shallow the lyrics really are, so it sounds so deep and beautiful. My friends had Chinese music, and they got it onto not my iPod. I borrowed one of their iPods and put their music into my iTunes, and now I have a whole bunch of Chinese music, and it's like nice old pop music.
Man, you old, Hake, man. I didn't know you was that old. Talking about iPods.
Yeah, I know.
iPod.
Yeah, I am old. Terrible.
One other thing that he had said, he said that JLP is like your pretend dad or something, or I thought that was weird. I'm like, I thought Hake got his own parents, man.
Yeah,
But
I do.
guess
I have a father whom I admire and respect quite well, quite greatly.
Hey, man, me too, man. Me too, man. That's one thing that I appreciate, man. I was talking to my pops. Me, him, and my uncle was on the line for like 2.5 hours last night having a good conversation.
Nice.
But one thing I don't understand, I know why he's saying that, and there's a lot of people that I hear bring that up, and I just, for me, it's like you can't have no respect towards your brother. You know what I mean? Like I understand why you respect him because of the type of things, the direction of what he led you to do and what others, you know what I mean, to step up. And everybody has somebody that may have said something or helped them in their life or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't mean that they their father. They just somebody who's just trying to teach you the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that's one thing I know, like Deion Sanders. I was just having a conversation with somebody about that, about the whole situation with him at JSU, and I said,
Is that the black
that,
college that he left? JSU?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And the president was put on administrative leave about a month ago, and now they have a new president. So now I'm starting to, it kind of pushes toward the narrative that what Deion was talking about was true, because why would they get rid of the president if it wasn't true?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But the one thing I was going to say was the one thing that he did there that was priceless, that he was giving those players character in life. And that's something that's priceless, and that's something that, like with you and JLP, y'all are trying to help people get that character to be closer to God,
right?
And be a man. You know what I mean? And to admit to when something's wrong and talk about it, so that way we can learn from it and grow and stop playing the victim, man. And this is a black man talking right now, and I understand what you're talking about, man. Because there's a lot of people that I know in my lifetime that just play the victim, and to this day still play the victim, man. And,
yeah.
I'm just can't live that lifestyle, man. If he wasn't wrong, what you were saying wasn't true, they wouldn't be complaining about it. They would just say that you're lying, that it isn't true. All they can say is that you're racist for saying it, which is dumb. Yeah, they not saying what you're saying ain't true, that it ain't happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is happening. So, maybe somebody need to talk about it. That's the whole point.
Yeah. I wouldn't remark on it if it weren't remarkable how, in a bad way, how bad it is. So,
exactly.
And I call for perfection of even our little supposedly piddly little flaws, our little anger and annoyance and division among the whites and all that stuff. I think we should all aim for perfection.
Especially with the liberal people, man. They be fighting with each other. My favorite thing is when they start fighting with each other, man, because it shows them, I help some of them realize that something isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing something wrong. Like, the reason why y'all having all these issues is because none of y'all can agree on anything. And then at the end of the day, what they doing half the time is wrong.
Yep.
But, that's another thing, man. But I just wanted to give you a quick call, man. I got to be a uplifter, not bringing somebody down and stuff, man, and just to let people know what's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that, DEVON. It's good to hear from you, man.
You have a wonderful day, and all the chatters, man. I'm always in the chat. Cali country, man. That's my little. Cause I sound country, but I was born in California, so.
Cali country, nice, man.
Yep, yeah. I'm always in the chats all the time.
Cool.
God bless you, man.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Nice. DEVON, heading up to Canada, Cali country. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, callers. I will get to you. I suppose we ought to talk about this 21-year-old. Is he a hero or is he a zero being attacked by fellow zeros? Still Gray tweeted out yesterday, it's really incredible how little interest the media has in protecting whistleblowers. They only selectively call people whistleblowers when they're going against the real American heroes like Trump, right? Preferring instead to do the work of the government by outing and reporting on leakers. Democracy does indeed die in darkness Washington Post. I added the com for post. That's what Still Gray tweeted. And he shares a clip and a tweet from the far left extremist Reuters. Yesterday came out this clip 20. The person who leaked the U.S. classified documents, prompting a national security investigation, is a gun enthusiast, they call him, in his 20s. I think he's 21, who worked, Jack Teixeira. Sounds like a normal white name. Maybe not. Not sure. Who worked on a military base, according to the Washington Post, citing fellow members, a teenage member, at least, of an online chat group on Discord. And here's a little 17-second report from yesterday. It's kind of old news, but it shows like the pentagram. No. The evil people going after this person who, what harm did he do? I don't even know. Maybe he did some harm. Here it is.
The person who leaked US classified documents prompting a national security investigation is a gun enthusiast in his 20s who worked on a military base. That's according to a Washington Post report on Wednesday, citing fellow members of an online chat group. The person shared classified information to a group on the instant messaging platform Discord of about 24 men and young boys who shared a, quote, mutual love of guns, the Post said. The Post based its report, which did not name the person, on interviews with 2 members of the Discord chat group. Reuters was unable to verify details of the report. Discord said in a statement earlier on Wednesday that it was cooperating with law enforcement. The Department of Defense and the Department of Justice did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The Department of Justice opened a formal criminal probe last week after the matter was referred by the Pentagon, which is assessing the damage done by what may be the most damaging release of classified US information in years. The leak reportedly reveals details of Ukrainian military vulnerabilities and information about allies, including Israel, South Korea, and Turkey.
So the update, according to the far-left females at the Skim, officials made an arrest over the leaked classified intelligence documents. Yesterday, the FBI, the liberal FBI, do they ever do anything good? Arrested Jack Teixeira. I'm probably butchering how you say it. Teixeira, 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman, in connection to leaked classified blah, 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 Pentagon documents. Some were top secret, highest level of classification. Others, docs, I would think that top secret is like, everybody knows about top secret. They should be like ultra mecha secret. Anyway, other docs are believed to have been altered, they say. Oh, they're just saying that to protect. Anyway, who knows? The classified info includes maps of Ukraine's defenses, U.S. intel on South Korea and Israel, and more. Israel spies on us. We spy on Israel. And what a mess. A whole bunch of snakes everywhere. Don't you just kind of expect it? Thug Shaker Central was the name of the Discord group, allegedly led by that guy, Jack Teixeira. Is he a Hispanic or something like that? What kind of name is that? 20 to 30 members of young men who share a love of guns. Even liberals love guns. Everybody loves guns. Racist memes and video games. Everybody posts racist memes. Those are the funniest ones sometimes. Give me a break. Teixeira. I wonder how stupid I sound saying it, pronouncing it that way. Maybe that's how it's pronounced. Teixeira. Whatever. Reportedly told the group that he worked as a technology support staffer. They're accusing him of uploading more than 100 classified docs between January and March into Discord. And they eventually made it to Twitter, far-left Twitter, and pro-Russian Telegram channels last week. He's expected to be arraigned in federal court today, maybe he already has, in Boston. Boston got shut down and turned into a ghost town when the Boston Marathon bombers, whom the FBI was warned about, the liberal FBI, by Russia, Putin warned us about the Tsarnaev brothers. Yes, that Boston. Liberal Boston. He could be facing charges under the Espionage Act. Each document could reportedly be its own charge, penalty of up to 10 years, so 1,000 years maybe, if he gets the full extent of the law thrown at him. Doubt it. So-called President Sleepy Joe Biden says he doesn't believe anything of great consequence has been leaked. He has to say that whether that's true or not, right? You downplay it. South Korea said that it, and he's a liar anyway. But anyway, who cares? The South Korea said they're investigating the leaks since U.S. spied on communications between its officials. Israel has called the allegations in the leak mendacious and without any foundation whatsoever. I wonder what the allegations are about Israel. Anybody know? I haven't been that interested in this, except that they're going after the guy, and what harm did it really do? And it just tells us that the government doesn't really believe in this war in Ukraine that much. They don't believe Ukraine can do it. You can do it! They're telling Ukraine, but really like, this is going to take forever. We're blowing money through. We're blowing money, and they're going to be at a stalemate for months. Terrible. Sleepy Joe Biden. So we have Joe Biden. You heard on the Jason Lee Peterson show the unchristian Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who has that gross voice. And I like smoker voices, but not his. And he listed off a whole bunch of unauthorized keeping, accessing, and distributing classified material. Evil guy. Think about it. Obama tried to appoint him to the so-called Supreme Court. Instead, he only successfully got a couple of females on the Supreme Court. KJP running her mouth about it. So, oh, my goodness. Before I get to Clay, on the calls here, I got to tell you about based Rand Paul. Ron Paul, not Rand Paul. Rand Paul's a rhino. Out with the rhino. In with the father, the daddy. Libertarian Ron Paul. I used to think he was a joke. Because he'd be like, so what? I don't care. He'd be like that. What's going on in the overseas, right? And I agreed about I don't care, but he just seemed like goofy. And the mainstream media portrayed him as goofy and off the wall too, and I probably fell for that in addition to it. And he talks sort of like a mama, a little bit, high-pitched voice. But it turns out you guys who are all Ron Paul guys, some libertarians, lawbertarians, and some of them are more right-wingers who are more sensible than the libertarians, lawbertarians, knew that he was right. He was like an honest politician, if there are any. Now, I'm censoring part of this clip. I saw this on TKR Official on Telegram, a resident historian, Asmodor. He said there's a coup, but I'm censoring that. I disavow that for the sake of my channel. There's no coup. The CIA didn't necessarily kill JFK. Did they? Or did they? I don't know. I don't really care. JFK, Irish, Catholic. What can we do about it anyway? No, I'm not for killing anybody, even Irish or even Catholics. That's wrong. But I heard they helped with the cover-up, right? But that doesn't mean they did it necessarily. But anyway, let me play the clip. He's talking about that based, funny guy, George Santos. I'd call him based, but he's not morally straight, as in gay. And George Santos is Republican. He's supporting Trump right now, but he lied about a bunch of stuff according to the liberal media and the phony politicians who are a bunch of liars about consequential things. Turns out Ron Paul agrees with me. Purportedly, this is a clip of Ron Paul being interviewed on, what is it? Is it on Tim Pool's show? You know, that liberal guy, former independent journalist guy. Now he's you know Tim Pool? Ever heard of him? Anyway, here's clip 15. Ron Paul on the based, and I use the term loosely, funny liar George Santos, I think. Here it is.
We don't have any resemblance to a government that believes in a republic. We don't have honest money. We don't have integrity. We don't even have people in Washington that even pretends, that you're supposed to tell the truth. Remember just recently there was a congressperson that won, and he won by putting on his resume just a bunch of lies. and the other ones got hysterical. The other congressman telling lies like that. And I got to thinking, well, how many of these people that were complaining about this guy telling lies, how many of them lied when they raised their hand up and swore to uphold the Constitution? Now, that's a lie that really has consequences. Actually, you could probably make fun and make a little joke because his jokes weren't, everybody knew he was fibbing, but the real lies are being told, and that is our big problem.
That's true, man. That's true. Big bump, all caps. Ron Paul has always been right! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yeah. Man, I was like laughing and shrugging you guys off. Turns out you're right. All you conspiracy theorists, all you lawbertarians, all you right-wingers, you racists. He also stated, and I'll see if I can read through it, because I cut out some important stuff, right? I'm arguing the case where in the middle of it and moving right along, and the revolution has been fought. There's been a coup. I disavow. But, we don't have a country anymore. We don't have any resemblance of a government to a government that believes in a republic. Don't have honest money, don't have integrity, as you heard him say. But I do believe there has been a coup. It's been taken over. And if I want to, I can want to just put a date in my mind. Anybody could pick probably any date. I was afraid he was going to say J6. But no, I disavow that. You could probably pick any date in the last 100 years or maybe 150 years. Maybe 175 years, whatever, right? Maybe 220 years, 250 years. Anyway, I would have picked November 22nd, 1963, the day Kennedy was murdered by our government, by the CIA. I don't know if that's true. I disavow it, just for the sake of my channel. But anyway, Ron says what I say. Who cares about meaningless lies? Oh, let's overreact to George Santos with his little, I lost 4 employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting. Oh, I'm a proud American Jew, even though he's Catholic and Hispanic. He's just Jewish. I am a proud gay, even though he was married at one point to a woman. Different things like that. Oh, I graduated from college. My mother died in 9/11 from 9/11. She died 15 years later. It's who cares? They do actual evil stuff like racism is real. Like we need equal rights for women, or fake idea called marriage equality. Ron Paul's not for that, is he? I know he's a libertarian, but he's not a socially liberal guy, is he? Social libertarian? I feel like I'm Matthew with 1 T of Caught in the Middle 0823, who interviewed me. My boy Ron Paul, let's go. He also says, don't do the weird Tucker Carlson strange Kermit sound. Man. He also says, Hake, this singer has feminine qualities as a male. Yeah, all singers are liberals and female-minded, including John Schlitt, even though he's on fire for God. It's like the losers who call Trump a liar. You hear like Tony from California calling in a Hake show, talking about, oh, Trump's a liar. I don't know if Tony says it, but people say, Trump is a liar. He's the liar in chief. 10,000 lies from the lying, failing New York Times slimes documenting it. They hate him because he tells the general truth. And then he says stuff that's, okay, so like he says $85 billion of equipment was left by America in Afghanistan. Okay, it's really 2 billion or 6 billion or something like that. Not 85 billion. We've spent 85 billion and then abandoned it and left it worse off, you know? Something like that. Oh, yeah, that's a lie that really matters. Not. Trump says stuff, oh, I had the biggest crowd. And they're like, oh, if he's lying about that, then he's lying about other things. And he's, Trump never lies. He's my idol, says Eli _Ja. I assume he's being sarcastic. But he's like, they hate him for telling the truth, as Tucker Carlson says. They don't hate him for his purported lies. They hate him when for telling the truth. Like, Mexico is not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. The people coming up through Mexico, not all of them are Mexican, but 60% were at some point of the illegals. So he's one of the premier truth tellers. Is that premier with an E at the end or no E at the end? Trump. So shout out to Ron Paul. Rand Paul, I like him too, but he's a kiss up to the blacks. Trump is too. And the women. Trump kisses up to the women. And it's been very destructive. Very true. Somebody talked about if China takes Taiwan. As based, libertarian Rand Paul said, oh, so what? I don't care. What a mess. Let me get to Clay on the line from... Oh, Clay hung up. Oh, Clay, call me back, man. Call me back. Speaking of lies, terrible lie. Corrupt Ukraine? Is Ukraine corrupt? Still gray. Ian Miles Cheong tweeted this out. It's a Rebel News article. Rebel News is like the Canadian wannabe Breitbart. That's what people say, right? With Zelensky on the cover, Ukraine faces corruption investigation. We already knew they were corrupt by a Pentagon inspector general. Well, who's inspecting the Pentagon? Over aid distribution. The Pentagon just openly accepts corruption, right? They accept evil. They promote the transgender in the military and anti-racism propaganda pushed down the throats of the military and forced vax, although maybe they got rid of that part. Pentagon Inspector General Robert Storch probing the Ukrainian government for corruption concerning large amounts of aid provided to the country after Russia's invasion over the previous year. According to Defense One, Storch has over 20 audits planned and nearly 100 people. Well, an audit doesn't prove they're guilty, right? It's kind of like the Tea Party were audited by the Obama IRS under Lois Lerner, but not even a smidgen of anti-conservative bias, according to Obama. So IRS audits. So audits don't mean they're corrupt, but maybe. Rebel News, Ian Miles Cheong reports Ukraine has a history of significant corruption issues, maybe even more corrupt than Russia. And when they use the word corruption, they mean it differently from how Hake uses it. I just mean morally corrupt. Because they're accepting as good, they're calling evil good and good evil, right? That's what I mean by corrupt. And they are liars, but they mean corruption in terms of misusing money and, you know, worldly corruption, right? With stuff even the world thinks is corrupt. Could pose a threat to the nation if they undermine the trust of foreign governments supplying them military and advanced weapons and supplies and money. Republicans increasingly critical of the sleepy Biden administration's aid to Ukraine. It's committed over $78 billion in military, humanitarian, and economic aid since January 2022, according to the Kiel Institute for the World Economy. Based, speaker in name only, Rhino. So I use the term loosely based. Kevin McCarthy, Rhino from California, Bakersfield area, referred to the aid packages as a blank check, lacking strict oversight standards. We shouldn't even be, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, should we even be helping them? Kevin Howe, aren't we doing more damage? Aren't we doing more damage? The Defense Department, which is run by a corrupt guy, secretary, the black affirmative action guy, affirmative action, he wasn't even supposed to be allowed as the Secretary of Defense. He's supposed to be 7 years out of the military so that he's more unbiased. But no, he's anything but unbiased. And the rhinos in the Senate approved him. What's that guy's name again? Lloyd Austin. The Defense Department is aware of Ukraine's corruption history and views the potential diversion of aid before reaching its intended recipients as a high risk, according to one official, an anonymous source probably. I don't know about anonymous sources. They always have an agenda, not always known to the journalist, according to Bill O'Reilly. But evil supporting evil. And speaking of liars, let me tell you about this blacks and racism story. Still Gray also tweeted this out from Rebel News. FSU, Florida State University, professor, and I saw this from somebody else too, maybe from Big Bump, resigns amid explosive allegations of faking racism studies. He looks like he wouldn't lie. Look at him in his striped polo shirt. Look at his nice smile, this black guy in Florida. Eric Stewart, nice American name. He doesn't even have a black African fake name. So he may not even be a Muslim or a black Hebrew Israelite. Look at him. Isn't that a nice doesn't he look like one of the ones you would get along with? Some of the people would move away if they saw him moving in just because. Anyway, let's keep moving. Eric Stewart, once respected criminology professor. Oh, criminology professors. Criminologists. Those are a bunch of liberals. They're not honest about what's really going on, right? But I don't know if this guy is. Well, apparently he's not, according to this report. If this report is to be believed, at Florida State University made a hasty exit from his role in the wake of jaw-dropping allegations. Shameless. That he fabricated data by tampering with sample sizes to make results appear more racist. The academic world is rocked by a scandal as a Florida State University criminology professor, Eric Stewart, abandoned his lucrative $190,000 a year position. What value is he bringing to the world making that kind of money? Sounds like a racket to me. Following a bombshell accusations that he deliberately doctored data on racism studies, leading to 6 retracted studies during his tumultuous 16-year career. Eric Stewart, once respected. Well, I already said that one already. The sordid saga. It was reported by the Florida Standard, by the way. Stewart was first accused of falsifying data in a study he co-authored with University of Albany up in New York. Criminology professor Justin Pickett in 2011. So 12 years ago. It delved into the controversial topic of whether the public demanded more severe sentences for black and Hispanic criminals as minority populations swelled. Pickett shockingly claimed in a 2019 complaint that their findings, which showed no relationship between minority population growth and sentence severity, were published with deviously altered data to imply a correlation. Whoa. Justin Pickett, his allegations included an astounding increase in the sample size from over 500 to a whopping 1184 respondents. Suspicious conclusion hinged on data from a mere 91 counties instead of a full 326 counties. So he was lazy, fudging the numbers, and making it seem like this racism thing is real. What's new? What's new? He did the equivalent of painting the N-word and a swastikas on the walls, because a lot of college students will do that and say black college students, or gay college students, or gay organ players, church organ players will do that on the sides of churches and bathroom walls, dorm room, bathroom walls and different things and doors. And it's them. Yeah, Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett, the tip of the iceberg. They do it all the time. Yeah, yeah. There are 4 more damning complaints against Stewart's other race-focused studies per the university's investigation committee, with 2 members who co-authored studies with Stewart shockingly found insufficient evidence for fraud and brought the probe, or insufficient evidence for fraud and brought the probe to an abrupt halt. In a desperate bid to defend his reputation, Stewart, who is black, accused Pickett of lynching his academic character by pushing the studies for the study's retraction. New allegation in June 2020 led to a 6th retracted study, adding fuel to the fire. Justin Pickett, the partner, remained tight-lipped about the latest investigation. He raised the alarm about researchers' incentives to publish studies and the glaring lack of accountability for falsifying data. Yeah, the mainstream media is all about this phony stuff. And the academia world, all about that phony stuff. And they're shallow anyway. They don't look at the root issues. They look at shallow surface things, shallow surface cause and effect, and think, oh, this surface cause is the root cause. No, it's not. Terrible. Let me get to some super chats over here, guys. Over on Rumble, Evil is Still Real says temporarily is pronounced the same as temporarily. Big brain Lord, good red-haired Hake. Also, happy birthday. Temporally is not pronounced the same as temporarily. But I misread it, I guess. Temporally. Man. Because he said if all music is gay, Petra is like a Roman bathhouse run by, he said ran, but run by the Dalai Lama, temporarily transported to San Francisco. And I must have misread it as temporarily. Terrible. Hank, when are you gents leaving LA? Sheesh. It's God's. We're leaving it up to God. Greenwall with a diamond asks, is Bond still leaving Cali? It's safer elsewhere. We follow where life leads us. Thank you, Hassan. You can take down that story. Appreciate it, man. Hassan's back, guys. Yeah, sign up for our newsletter. We have the update in that. Brief update. So, yeah. It's up in the air as the Lord leads. So, fret not, fret not. We're not fretting. John WX25 with a Streamlabs support. Streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Come on, Hake. It's not really his fault. He was using black racist math. Yeah, true. Talking about that guy. And let me double check from Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/@the Hake Report. Okay, we're all clear. An update, guys, on that San Francisco stabbing murder. Far-left females run outlet The Skim reports yesterday, San Francisco police said they made an arrest in the murder of the Cash App founder, Bob Lee. It was not a black, or was it? Officials said the 38-year-old suspect knew Bob Lee, Cash App founder. He was the one stabbed to death in San Francisco. San Francisco is where they still have a little bit higher, or significantly higher, murder clearance rates than in Oakland. I told you about that earlier. The 38-year-old suspect knew Bob Lee, the Cash App founder, liberal, maybe 43 years old, family man, is said to be a tech entrepreneur. Wow. Wow. They arrested Nima Momeni in connection, according to CNN Commie Nonsense Network Business. Nima Momeni. Interesting. Looks like a, I don't know what he is. Eastern European? One of those mixed guys? I don't even know. I don't have a picture for you guys, but they had him in an orange jumpsuit. Crazy, huh? 38-year-old tech entrepreneur killed 43-year-old tech legend, Cash App creator Bob Lee, on this stabbing him to death on the streets of San Francisco. Beautiful area too, I heard. Let me see if I can drag this into the folder so you guys can see him. Come on. I don't know if it'll do it. I just froze my computer trying to drag in. Okay, I just refresh and it starts with 230413 blah 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 blah. Nima Momeni from his LinkedIn page. Allegedly he stabbed him. He has this big smile. He looks like he's sort of light-skinned. FBI would call him white, but we would call him Arab or something. No, I don't know. We don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. But they arrested. You see it in there, in the folder there? Hopefully it's in there. 230413 blah 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 blah. Nima Momeni. Just so you can see him. He looks guilty. It's funny how seeing negative information, whether it's true or not, about a person, and then looking at the person, they start to look guilty. He certainly doesn't look, and his name doesn't sound like a normal American man. Do you see it in there, Hassan? Hopefully we don't freeze the computer, dragging in stuff from CNN Business, Commie Nonsense Network Business. I don't know what the motive was. Jealousy? Envy? Watch out for those backstabbers. Was he stabbed in the back or stabbed in the front? True friends stab you in the front. No, I don't know if true friends would stab you at all. So, surveillance footage showed Bob Lee walking alone on Main Street, gripping his side with one hand and his cell phone on the other, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Horrific, right? Terrible. Terrible. Do you see it there? Is it not working? Oh, it's not working, guys. It is a... Hold on, let me see. Oh, it's a WebP. Oh! Okay, after all this work, I'm going to screenshot it and I have to show it to you guys now because I've drummed it up too much not to show it to you. He's all smiling in front of a lake. Ah! Here it is. Hold on. Man. Okay, screenshot going into the folder. Computer's all acting haywired. Haywild. Screenshot. Ah. Now it's really frozen. I should give up. Give up now, Hake. We're moving on. It's not important. We don't even know if he's... Oh, it worked? Here it is. Hey, Hassan, saving the show. People are asking for mildly attractive and I disavow shirts. Look at this guy. Isn't it crazy how he looks guilty all of a sudden? Just because we know... If this were like... I don't know. Well, I have a kind of anti-un-American bias. He doesn't seem very American. But he's, you know, this fit young guy. I don't know how fit he is, but he's smiling in the sun. Tech entrepreneur. Nima Momeni. What kind of a name is that, man? And he's arrested. Allegedly, he's guilty. But it's crazy. We don't know if he's guilty or not. That's a foreigner, says Enstrand. Guilty. Zesty, says Peter R. Come on, man. What possessed him, you know? What possessed him to do that, if he's guilty? Man, what a shame. He's said to be a tech entrepreneur. Never heard of him. But we're told that Cash App supported Black Lives Matter, and a lot of blacks use Cash App. I learned about Cash App from the blacks, in fact. Shout out to the blacks. Terrible. You know what else is terrible? Women making money. This is not good. The far left females at the Skim report society. Yesterday, new research found that for the first time, some women earn as much money as men in about 30% of marriages. The Pew Research Center, far left enemies of America, Pew, said the number of wives making as much money or more than their husbands, as much as or more than their husbands, has nearly tripled over the last 50 years. But of course, there are some drawbacks. That in itself is a drawback. The study also found that although more women are getting bigger paychecks, they're also picking up most of the slack at home. As for husbands, they're spending an average of more than 3 hours a week socializing and on leisurely activities compared to their wives, all in a day's work. Terrible. Well, you guys want to work. You're picking up the slack for the men. You got to eat it. Nima is an Indian name. And Nima, though. I don't know. Terrible. Women making money. Not good. Not good. Why is it not good? Because they should be making the babies, not money. Instead of stressing out on the job and stressing out over this stuff, over this or that, worrying their pretty little heads about equality, not even a real thing. And equity, too, not even a real thing. Communist suckers. Let me get to Tony in California. This should be a mess. Tony in California, how you doing? I'm coming into it with bias.
Good morning, sir. How the heck are you?
I'm doing fine. Morning to you.
Wonderful.
It's morning here in
wonderful.
LA. Go ahead.
It's a beautiful day around the world above ground.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm calling, you were speaking on the Cash App owner that was murdered in the streets of San Francisco.
Allegedly, yes.
Well, no, he's dead, so they know allegedly. He is dead.
But he's allegedly murdered. We don't know if it was self-defense or anything. It's a stretch to believe it may have been self-defense, I suppose. But
why would it be self-defense when the man
go on with your point? Go
on
with your point. I agree with you.
Thank you,
probably
sir.
murder.
Thank you. Just keep it real. Keep it real. The thing
you.
is, sir, the day that he was murdered, allegedly, as you say,
2 a.m.
It was a company right there, waiting for the news to take its place. So to me, it was a setup to get him murdered. Just like the same way that Michael Jackson was murdered, the same reason that Prince was murdered. It's all a takeover.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Michael Jackson. Real, man. Michael Jackson was weak. He was on drugs.
No, Prince, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
You don't know that they're murdered.
It's America lie. Okay, they didn't want Michael Jackson in the position that he was in because he was a powerful black man.
Lord.
And he had white women fainting at his feet, at his sight. And white man said that's too much power for a black man to have.
That's ridiculous. He was over the hill.
The truth. That is the truth.
He was over the hill, man. That doesn't even make any sense.
No, over the hill, nothing. That was the best. He was the best performer the world would ever see.
Then why wasn't he murdered at the height of his career, not the...
Because he had too much power. Too much power. A white man don't want a black man to have too much of anything, or they're going to get rid of you.
That's ridiculous.
The same way with Johnny Cochran was murdered. They say he had a heart attack or a stroke. That's a lie. They poisoned that man.
Whatever, man.
Okay.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
White America will not allow
You would be better off if it were America It's actually the America DOJ. DOJ. Un-America
you
DOJ.
call it what you want to call it.
Yeah,
I will
because
call it America.
But that's inaccurate.
Because it's been like that from the beginning of time.
We would be better
out
off.
So many cultures.
Anyway, whatever.
You are the murder. White America have murdered more human beings on this face of this earth, not just in America, but around the world, for no good reasons, for power and greed.
Those are good reasons.
Oh, but yet you're a Christian. Yet you're a Christian, but you say those are good reasons, but yet you call yourself a Christian.
Well,
Thank you for verifying that, my friend.
You said murder as if there is a good reason for murder. Those are good, perfectly good reasons.
No, you just told me there was good reason for greed and power is good reasons to murder people.
I didn't say murder is good. I said
You
those are
just
good
said
reasons.
it. You said there was good reasons. You said that's a good reason
You're a
to
mess.
do that. But that
Very
shows me. That shows me how you and
Is the Cash App founder black?
I don't think so. I think he was a European like you.
He's white, American.
He's a European. Ain't no such thing as white.
No,
Ain't
he's
no
white
such
American.
Thing
He's not European.
There's no such thing as a white race. You are European.
You don't know me.
You pink.
Oh, you went
Okay.
low. You went too far.
No, that's the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
If I pinked you, you would turn pink.
No.
A reddish pink.
No.
That's true. I mean, Hank.
Whatever.
Face the truth.
You're just mad. You're just mad because.
Mad about what?
I don't know.
Mad about what?
Mad
Come on
because
with it.
Mad because I tell the truth.
You never do, Joe. You never do, Hank. You never do. You just like your boss man, Jesse. Y'all a bunch of propagandas, and y'all out for greed. That's all it is.
Whatever.
It's the truth. Speak it.
No. That's silly.
I know you won't. I know you won't, because it's against your agenda. That's just it. It's against your agenda.
So you're just speculating that this guy was murdered because who started? What company started? Did it have to do with what Based America First told me about with
There's
Fed?
something called Governor Fed or something.
FedNow?
Huh?
FedNow.
It's something like that. Yeah. But,
yeah.
hey,
Did you hear Based America First?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh yeah, Well, I read his 5 coffees on buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report, and I think that you yourselves can read that entire comment yourselves on buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report, talking about all the shenanigans that, interestingly, coincidentally, they FedNow. FedNow is not a private company. It's the black-hearted run government, right? FedNow. Or is it
black-hearted government? For what?
Federal
where?
Reserve. Federal Reserve. That's not white American Christian. It's not Christian
The
white.
government is. Isn't it the government?
The government is black-hearted, against Christians, against white people.
Oh, come on, man. Y'all, will you stop saying Christian? Ain't no such thing as no Christian, man. You just evil.
Oh, okay.
Would y'all stop that Christian mess? It don't exist, like Justin said. It don't exist.
Whatever.
Christianity do not exist. You are evil human beings.
That's so deep. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the words of wisdom.
Thank you. You are welcome. Because I was trying to tell Justin that, but he is so much denial, and he got an agenda that he has to uphold.
Yeah,
That's why he walk around with that fake beard color in his face.
The truth.
No,
Tony,
that's not true.
Tony,
He's
happy
He's
Orthodox.
a real beta.
Happy Orthodox Easter.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that paganism.
Oh.
Man-made. Anything that comes from biblical is man-made.
Oh, okay. I gotta go. Adios.
Have a wonderful, beautiful day, and enjoy the sun, the real sun that's above your head, not the fake sun in that Bible. But the real sun is above your head.
My white skin is so efficient at processing vitamin D that I only need a little bit of sunlight. And you guys, you blacks are vitamin D deficient because you need a lot of sun to get.
we come from the sun, and one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. You can't stand the sun because you'll burn up like a daggone burning bush.
Thanks.
And you know that.
God was in the burning bush.
Put your sweater on and put a hat on your head and go outside.
God was in the burning bush.
You can see out there.
God was in the burning bush.
Let's have a challenge.
God was in the burning bush. Adios.
Let's have a challenge. You and I
Adios.
stand and see who can stay out there the longest.
That's silly. I don't need it. That's
Yes,
a that's
because
childish.
You're European. You can't stand the sun.
You're childish.
You can't stand the truth.
I gotta
See,
go.
Europeans can't stand the truth, and the sun is the truth.
Oh.
That's the only sun. Oh God. Okay.
Oh,
Keep it real.
Lord.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
All right, you too. Bye. Tony from California. He's not one of the more sensible truckers. Let's just say that. Oh, man. So much for Flat Earth Friday. I wanted to read some Flat Earth chats, but I don't know if I have time. Let me see what I can do. Hake comments. Oh, man. I should not be in this. Goodness. Yeah, my finder's a mess. Okay. Rocked by Requiem says, Hake, love you, buddy, but if you're going to claim flat earthers believe things without evidence, you're going to have to offer actual evidence against us, or at least a little bit of an idea of what you're arguing for / against. You're just admitting each time you discuss it that you don't actually know if something is right or wrong. As I've said before, as Christians, the Bible has to be the ultimate authority when it comes to matters that have legitimate room for argument or interpretation. I disagree, man. And biblical cosmology is undeniably clear that we do not live on a 66,000 mile per hour spinning ball, and that NASA / Globo Homo / Jewry's narrative about quote unquote space is utter nonsense. Don't be so stubborn. You're better than that. And I say, no, I'm not better than that. I am stubborn. And when I've read the Bible, it's not clear about that stuff to me. That's my response to Rocked by Requiem. Actually, I replied to his comment. He commented under my, I'm so exhausted, guns, transgenders, and Soros Friday, the 31st of March, a couple weeks ago, to the day. Tosser4716 says, you debunk nothing, Satanist shill, because I debunked the flat earthers, right? I debunked flat earth on March 30th, Thursday, 2 weeks ago in a day. You debunk nothing, Satanist shill. Earth can never be a spinning ball of water in a vacuum. You're a servant to the lie, to evil itself, and a phony. And Steve Sly gave me a bunch of them that I'll have to read next week, I guess. But shout out to the flat earthers. You're wrong, but we love you. If we love anybody. You turned out to be right about some stuff, like Ron Paul. Are Ron Paul supporters flat earthers? No. Evil is still real says, Hake, if a Roman-era bathhouse was temporarily transported through time to present day from the past, then it would have been ran and not run by the Dalai Lama. Oh, I don't know. I'm confused, man. I don't know grammar, you Nazi. Anyway, guys, this has been the Hake Report. Hope you enjoyed it. What a messy, loosey-goosey Friday show. Now is time for Racebannon, and I can't even say the name of this album. It's track 1 from the 2002 album Satan's Kickin, something, 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 something in. And it's the Untitled intro. They called it 1, but some people call it 1, but it's not track. It's track 1, but it's not 1, Roman numeral 1. It's an Untitled intro. Hope you like it, and adios, America, and see you in the fallen state and church. And someday, sometime soon, stay tuned for Nick's stream. Bye.